I'm going to go ahead and start today. Today, remember, I'm going to take my stitches out of my dog today, so we're going to go to bed at 4. So we're going to have class till about 3:30. So what I wanted to talk about today was actually the language of spirit, the language. So the language of spirit. And how spirit speaks to us, how spirit communicates with our vibration. And what I'm going to do is do a lot of what I'm talking about is how it affects me and how spirit works with me and what I do to help the language of spirit, to help them to speak to me, to talk to me, to connect to me. So what I want to do is when spirit speaks to me, it is this connection of working with spirit, connecting to them. And it's through understanding. And when I teach the psychic alphabet, it's what I do is I teach the psychic alphabet on how you speak to spirit and how spirit works. And if you're a clairvoyant and you see spirit or you sense them and you're clairsentient or you hear spirit and you clairaudient or you just smell spirit around you, it's like you can smell roses, coffee cooking, cigarette smoke. It's these gifts from the spirit world. And usually things that appear in our lives when we speak to spirit are actually from what has happened in our lives, what has happened through our connection in our own lives. So it's like a lot of the symbols, the things that appear in our lives, the symbols that connect to us, the symbols that are part of our vibration. What happens is spirit gives us things, and then we have to figure out what it means to us. And if we try to look through books and try to figure out where in the book it starts to connect to, where in the book it starts to connect to, then we get ourselves off track, because really what the communication with spirit is what it's supposed to mean to us, what it's supposed to mean to our vibration, to our connection of who we are. So really what I want to do is kind of explain that when you're doing this work, when you're doing the work of spirit, what you really want to do is you really want to listen to what they're trying to tell you. And listening, not just kind of connecting, maybe that's what it, no, kind of figure out what it says to you. If you see a crow and it flies through your room and the spirit's trying to show you a crow, it's not what a crow means to the individual or the lady down the street. It's what that crow means to you. Does it have some kind of connection to you? Did your father have a thing on a shirt that he crow, or maybe somebody in the family was named a name? So you have to kind of research what it actually means to you. And then that's what it will always mean, that communication, that language of spirit. It'll always mean that. It won't change. It won't say, oh my God, I think it changed, Lou. Here's going to change. No. What they do is they maneuver the situation in front of you. You have an idea what it is. And once you set it, not carve it in stone, but once you set the vibration, your guides will literally keep that. So every time you see a crow or you see a certain symbol that you already have a meaning for, it'll always mean that. It'll always connect to that. If I see yellow roses, I had yellow roses for my father. I had yellow roses for my father's funeral. I had them in his part of the family. And my father-in-law died. My father-in-law wanted yellow roses. So I want to put it off my father-in-law or father's part of the family, not mother's part, father. So if somebody brings you a yellow rose, then I'm actually dealing with somebody from the father's side of the family, because that's what a yellow rose means to me. So it's according to how it connects to you, what is the vibration. So when you're setting the vocabulary, you start working with your guides, figuring out what you need to do with your guides. But I tell people psychometry works out extremely well. If you don't know what psychometry is taking an object, feeling the energy off the object and trying to figure out what the object's trying to tell you. I do it a different way when I teach classes. I bring envelopes with different things within the envelope. You could have a swatch of a color blue. You could have whatever you want in the envelope that's flat, that you're not going to be able to feel it and know what it is. And then you allow your senses, your psychic senses, to touch that piece of paper and then tell you what you feel with it. What do you sense with it? Now, you might not get all of them right and all of them right, but you're going to start feeling. You're going to start connecting. You're going to start opening that third eye, that vibration. So, and when you practice with that, you get an idea of what your symbols are trying to tell you. If you see an ocean, and you go, I see an ocean with this, and you open it up, and it's blue water, blue, the color blue. So you might then get in, then you might definitely get into a symbol situation of seeing blue and saying, I feel like you need to be near the ocean, because blue will mean that to you. See, it's what it means to you. And we used to have a teacher out here in Casadega who used to teach symbols, have all these symbols, but it was always the symbols what was meant for her vibration, not really what was meant how my life went, how my connection went, or how your life is going in your life. Some symbols that mean a certain thing to me probably will not mean the same thing to your vibration. So what you're doing is you're getting yourself all this information from Spirit. So, and Spirit has that language of kind of, they'll either hit you with it. If you're clairaudient, you're going to hear Spirit speaking to you. But if you're clairsentient, you're going to sense it. You're going to feel it. You're going to sense the vibration. So really what you want to do is sense what's going on around you, what's connecting to the vibration, what's connecting into the auric field around you. So what you're trying to do is feel that energy. And getting yourself quiet, getting yourself not peaceful. You don't have to get too peaceful in your vibration, but getting yourself quiet enough to listen. I did a reading the other day, and I told somebody, all you have to do is get quiet and listen to your inner voice. Listen to it. What is your voice telling you? What is that inner voice, that inner connection of you? What is it telling you? If you're holding on to something and you close your eyes, and let's say you're holding on to a seashell, and your inner voice is going off in all these directions inside of you. It's going to beach sand and over here, and over here. What you're doing is you're trying to quiet that vibration, quiet it, focus the vibration, focus the energy, focus that vibration of your inner vibration, of your inner thought. And what you're really trying to do is set that in motion, trying to see it that connection to you. So listening to what your guides are telling you, especially, and it helps you during your waking hours when you're just going up and down the street, when you're driving to work, when you're getting up in the morning, when you turn on the TV set, different things will catch your attention. They will just majorly catch your attention. So really what you want to do is you want to see exactly what's going on when they do that. See, if you see a blue car on the TV, then somebody drives past your house in a blue car. Then you see a blue car again. There's a method. There's always a method to a spirit. And I think a lot of us have lost that method because we go off and we don't really watch anymore. We allow things to maneuver around us without us actually seeing them, without actually paying attention. And when we quiet ourselves, we have that idea of having that visualization skill going back in our lives and visualize situations that we would love in our lives and we would like to speak to Spirit. And when Spirit speaks to you, Spirit will speak. But sometimes Spirit speaks to us and it doesn't work well for us. It just doesn't work. So you have to discern the Spirit. You have to speak to them. You have to talk to them. And you might think, well, that's crazy, Lou. I'm just talking to somebody that's not quite here. I'm speaking to them. No. You have to speak to them. You have to tell them if what they're doing to you doesn't work for you. It doesn't connect to you. It doesn't work. My wife her brother committed suicide, so the whole thing around her neck and all this stuff she would get this massive, massive pain around her neck when he arrived, when he showed up. And she said, "Oh, Louis, I can't breathe. It's just awful." I said, "Tell him to stop. Have him come in a different way." As soon as she did that, the next few days, he came back in, and she had one small tear coming out the side of her eye. And then she knew that he had changed how he propelled himself in her life. She knew when he was around, she'd have that one tear coming out the side of her eye. So the question is, the Spirit will listen to you, because they want to come in, they want to speak to you, they want to talk to you, they want to communicate with you. And they don't know that some things they are doing to you disrupt you. They don't know that. As long as you, if you don't tell them, you don't explain to them, this isn't working, I don't like this, they don't know that. They just think that it's okay. They're okay with that. I used to have different guides through my life that would either bang me on the back of the head, or they would do things, and they would disrupt me. They would scare me to death sometimes. And I didn't like that. I didn't like them doing that. It just bothered me. It just didn't work well. So I made them change that. I made them redo it some other way, some other vibration, so that I would feel comfortable with them being here. And then I would know who was here. And then when you're doing this mediumship, when you're connecting to the language of spirit, kind of figure out where the spirits are falling. Where are they falling in the vibration? Are they come on the left side of the person, right side of the person? And then you kind of set the family tree. If you're giving somebody a reading and you feel somebody's mother, oh my God, it's your mother, and the person, oh my God, it's my mother, she's in spirit, then you got to know at that point, that side of the family, wherever you sense that energy, is going to be mother's side of the family. And by deduction, the other side will be father's side. By just deduction. So then every time you do a reading, you get energy on that part of the body, or that energy of that place of the body, you're going to pretty much go to the mother's side or the father's side, whatever that part of the body has actually deemed itself as being. You're listening for the vibrations. So you're going to listen to that, listen to the vibrations, because we're all going to get these tools, these vibrations of color, different things, and seeing auras and seeing different vibrations. But it's still, if you get down to the auric field and you see purple, or you see orange, or you see green, or you see this, or you see that, what does that mean to you? What do those colors mean to you? Do they mean something to you? And you could say, well, those are aura colors, or just something aura, Well, what if it's a different meaning? What if it's some other kind of meaning? Maybe they're green in the vibration for money, prosperity, growth. Maybe there's blue in the vibration, not for the third eye, but mostly for health, for balance, for connecting to a higher sense of consciousness. So what are you really seeing with this? So that's why you have to discern the spirit. You have to speak. You have to tell somebody something. But in the back of your head, that's why you quiet that inner voice. You're having that inner voice, that voice within you, asking questions while you're speaking, so you can get more information from the spirit side of life as you continue with the reading. So that's why you're discerning the spirit. You're discerning the vibration of spirit, and you're discerning them. So allow yourself to be patient with yourself. Patience. Mediumship is a movement of patience. Don't try to rush to the final product here. Don't get one class today, one class tomorrow, the next day you're certified and you're ready to go. It takes time and energy to set the vibration of connection. It's letting you feel vibration. I sit in my cabinet in my room, and I sit there and meditate every single night. I wait for certain things to happen. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't, but I don't give up. I continually sit every single night to allow spirit to work with me, to allow them to maneuver within my vibration. Now, I know not everybody's going to sit every night, sit in meditation, get quiet, ask spirit for things in the vibration, ask them for how's the best to work with them. Not everybody's going to do that. But it's how you propel yourself to spirit, it's how you make yourself available to the spirit world. It's like if you're open and you're ready, and remember, you're not going to attract something that's not for your highest and best. You have the guides, protectors, and guides who protect you. They are set up on your auric field. They protect you. unless you're going somewhere in the spirit world that you personally know, I'm not supposed to go there, then, I mean, wherever you're supposed to be, your guides will take you, and they will take very good care of you. So you're protected. You are definitely protected every time you speak to the spirit world. But it's where you go in the spirit world. It's like taking the subway in New York. You can get off in a bad part of town, or do you want to go to the good part of town? It's up to your vibration. It's where you step off of the train, step off of the vibration. It's how far you raise the vibration, how high that you connect to a higher sense of consciousness, and then allowing yourself to come into balance with that. It's the thing when I started doing mediumship when I was a kid, what I saw spirit moving in a room. They would sit on the bed, they'd come out of the walls, they would just stand there. But at the beginning of this, there was no voice, there was no sound from spirit, there was no sound. I could see their mouths moving, but the message, the connection to spirit was inside of me. I could hear them speaking, but I couldn't hear them speaking outside of me. Only within my head was I hearing the voices. And I knew what they were telling me. I could see their mouth moving. But outside of myself, a noise in the room, I didn't hear anything. I just saw them standing there, and their mouths were moving. And then I, in turn, heard it inside of me. Then, a little while later, I started to sense them in the room. And that was about 8 months to a year later. I was sensing them. I saw them still. I didn't quite hear them in the room, but I sensed them in the room. So I started figuring out what they were doing, what they were wearing, what they were trying to get my attention with. So I started setting my psychic vocabulary. So my mother told me, set your psychic vocabulary so you know what they're trying to tell you without wasting a lot of energy trying to communicate with them. Allow them to just speak to you through the symbols that they're going to bring through. So that's what I did. I worked on what they would do, and they would sit there with me. They would sit there and work with me. They would work with me. They would bring colors, different things in the room, and they would explain to me in my head what they meant, what they were trying to communicate to me with. But then I understood that they were working with my inner being, my thoughts, my vibration, what was going on with me. So from this life and past lifetimes and incarnations, because you carry every bit of the information that you've carried through every lifetime, every single lifetime you've ever lived is in the cells in your body today. So everything, every knowledge, every piece of knowledge that you have through all your lifetimes are within the lifetime today. So I was just getting back in connection with my cells and understanding what it meant to me, what it connected to me with. Then not too long after that, I was about 8 years old, they started talking. And they haven't shut up. But they started talking, and I could hear them outside my body speaking and talking. And then I got a little bit clearer information. And sometimes they talk, sometimes spirit won't talk. They'll just be quiet again. Sometimes they talk. So it's according on how they speak to you, how do they work with you. And over the years, I've got all the clara gifts through my vibration, but it has been through constant work of doing that. But setting the connection of what's going on around me, especially when I'm doing a reading. If you walk in my office and you have all this yellow on, and you wore a yellow shirt, and I'm looking behind you, and there's all this yellow, and there's yellow flowers, and there's yellow color, and there's yellow, there's yellow, there's yellow. It's all in your vibration. Well, I'm going to signify yellow to a part of your family, but I'm also going to signify it to an energy or a vibration that has some kind of connection to you. So then I have to read into that. I have to read into that vibration and figure out exactly how it works. So by understanding a lot of this is understanding what's working for you, what's connecting to your higher sense of consciousness. Because everything in your life has a connection to you. It does. And some people say, well, no, it doesn't. Everything doesn't have a connection to me. No, yes, it does. Every movement, every change, every situation that has appeared in your life has been a journey, either for you to affect the whole or the consciousness, the universal consciousness, or to affect your own vibration to move you forward. But we're always moving something forward, either our own consciousness or the universal consciousness. We're moving something. And no matter what happens in our life, we're affecting one or the other. In some small fashion or some large fashion, we're affecting it. So as we move forward in our mediumship, we're affecting our spiritual growth. Not, let's say, our major one, but it's that connection to the spirit world. I've been doing readings many years of my life, and a lot of times I hope that I get it right pretty much. I like to get it right all the time. Sometimes I don't get it. I'm not completely connected, and sometimes it doesn't flow as it should, and I get a little upset with that because I want them to really be in front of me. So I try to work on it really hard to try to make sure that the information, because by me talking to people and giving them messages and different things in their vibration and helping them, I in turn help them on their journey. But then I in turn help their group energy, their group consciousness. So I'm helping a multitude of people just by working with the energy. And that's one thing I love about mediumship. It's one thing I love about it, is I'm just really not affecting just my forward motion. Whether I didn't do another reading in my whole life, it is the energy that I'm putting out into the spirit world is affecting my consciousness, which I will still have when I get to the spirit world. I'm affecting my soul growth, my soul vibration. I'm also affecting the group consciousness that I will be rejoining when I enter the spirit side of life. So in turn, I'm doing what spirit wants me to do, what they want me to do. And spirit will maneuver you, place you wherever you need to be. But the symbols, the knowledge of understanding what they're trying to tell you, it's not like you say, well, that's the first thing I heard, I'm just getting out. No, you have to listen to yourself. Allow it to be very repetitious. Allow it to show itself. If it has to have a meaning or a connection to you from the spirit side of life, they will show you. They will have that strong connection of what they want to do for you. What they want to do, they will. They'll have that strong, major connection in your life. So allow them to converse with you. And that's just by being quiet. When I teach meditation, I like taking people with music and doing a guided meditation and taking on a journey to the other realms and different things. That's just awesome. But then when I sit sometimes, I just sit in the silence, in the very much silence, and I listen. And I try to keep myself focused, and I'm sitting myself in the silence. I'm just listening to the feelings and the vibration that I'm feeling from the spirit side of life. I'm just listening. And it takes time to kind of quiet that. As I said at the beginning, you're quieting that voice within you. You're getting a little bit quiet. You're focusing that voice within you. Then you quiet this outer body situation. Quiet this mind, this vibration. So you're in this floating. I call it floating. And sometimes when you do this, some people could have this happen in their life. They're sitting in meditation, and all of a sudden they get like a tightness around their head. Different things are going on. It's different. It's a different feeling. And what's happening is they're working with you. They're working with your vibration. Sometimes when you get the tightness on your head, you're probably not breathing as much as you should. Probably should kind of regulate your breathing, and that will kind of subside a little bit. You could tap your third eye, tap it with a finger. That actually starts to activate the pineal gland. There's different things you can do to activate, to see, to instruct, but keep a list of what you feel things are. If they brought you a yellow car, what does a yellow car mean to you? If they brought you a blue rose, well, what will a blue rose mean to you? If they brought you a squirrel just sitting over there in the room, what would a squirrel mean to you? What do these things mean to you? What do they mean? And they are just symbols. They are the symbols. And I've done this before. Like if I looked in your vibration and saw a basket, and then I saw a rainbow, and then I saw a fox. And then the curtain went black. That's all I saw. Basket, rainbow, fox. Now, when I start the reading, I've got to try to figure out what that basket means, what that rainbow means, and what that fox means. And the reason you set your communication up with spirit is you don't want to look at somebody when you're doing a reading or connecting to spirit and you're giving a reading and go, you know, dear, I've got a basket here. And I know the basket's sitting here, dear, and there's been a rainbow off in the corner, off in the distance, dear. And, you know, there's been a squirrel running around over here. God bless you. Now, the person's probably going to think you're nuts because the symbols have nothing to do with them. They have no connection to them. They were symbols for your vibration. But if I went in for the basket, the rainbow, and the squirrel, I would just definitely tell you, say, you know, there's things being stored in your life at this point that are connecting to a situation. I do sense you're building on this. You're building on this vibration. Because I have to look at what the wicker basket is made out of. It's made out of wicker, it's made out of wood. What is it made out of? I would assume that my vision of the basket would be wood. So that means the wood had to be worked on. It had to be put together. It had to be weaved into a basket. So I would say that the storing and putting things in motion, that you're working very strongly on these situations in your life. Strongly on these situations in your life to bring you to a new consciousness, a new vibration within your being. Now the rainbow, you can look at the rainbow, it's got all the colors. Plus, it's all like if you believe in the Irish, and there's a leprechaun at the end of the rainbow with a pot of gold, then you would kind of think, well, what does that mean to me? So you go in the chakras and saying that you're being balanced and balancing your auric field and balancing the situations within your life. And there's prosperity and growth coming in your life that are going to bless you on your forward motion within your life. And the squirrel usually takes things and puts them away for later. Later. Usually a squirrel won't eat everything they find on the ground. They'll put some away before a rainy day. So the squirrel usually will mean to me, you're connecting to things. You're connecting to things. You're storing things away for a brighter future, a brighter understanding of where you are. You're going to be connecting to your sense of achievement, of movement, of change. See, that's what it means to you. It's how you tell the story. It's how you communicate the reading, how you communicate the vibration. It's sure they'll give you symbols, but it's what do you read into the symbols and how you tell yourself the story. That's the key. It's telling yourself the story. So you have to realize that everything you do, everything you say, has a connection to your physical being, but also to your spiritual sense, your spiritual being. Your spiritual being, your guides, your guides have followed you through lifetimes, your spiritual connection, that higher self, that higher vibration that's connected to the spirit world, the guides that all know exactly where you're supposed to be years from now. They know what path and what journey that you're going to be on. And what happens in your life today, now, everything could be working out extremely well for you and everything's just awesome in your life. Everything's just connected. But if it's not working the way it should be working at this point, then talk to your guides. Say, you know, I don't know where you need me to be, but could we take the route that's either the shortest or the most pleasant route to where I need to be? Sometimes we take a route in our lives and we take it and we end up slamming our house head against the door when we only have to realize that we could have walked past the door and walked into the whole situation without even going anywhere near the door. So we have to realize that when you are looking at the vibration, doesn't mean you have to hit something from the spirit world and say, oh, here we go. I don't. And don't study it over so long that it throws you completely off balance. People study things way too long in their life. They beat it up in their head. They train it, and they move it, and they stretch it, and they take way too much time. It doesn't take that much time. Figure out what it means, because once you figure it out, it goes into a database in your mind, in your higher self. The database is set. Then once it shows up again, I know what a rainbow means. I know it has a connection to health. It has a connection to well-being. It has a connection to situations and abundance and stuff in a person's lives. That's what it means to me. Now, rainbow can mean something totally different than you, but it's what it means and what it connects to you. Same thing with squirrel, same thing with the basket. What does the basket mean? We are really looking at these things as when they arrive, what do they look like? See, some people just concentrate on the symbol, but what does the symbol look like? If I saw the basket and it was all scuffed up and the wood was all beat up and oh my God, it was an awful looking basket, I'd have a whole different reading for you because I got the basket, but ooh, what was the basket looking like? Same thing with the squirrel. If it was missing a tail and it was looking like it was ready for its last leg, probably not going to think a very healthy situation going on. See, that's what you're looking at. It's looking at when the symbol arrives in your vibration, how does it show itself to you? How does it connect to you? That's what you have to ask yourself. So you have to ask your higher self, what does this mean to me? And if you don't know what it means, then ask your guides, ask your message bearers, your guides, your protectors. What does this mean? Show me. What does this mean? What does this connect to? And you can get another symbol right away, or something else will happen in your life to give you the information you needed with that symbol. So, and it just takes a few years to set all this, but once you start setting it, once you start putting it in motion, it gets a lot easier. It gets a lot easier to read the vibration for yourself, read it for yourself, because you're able to connect to that higher vibration and download the information, download it from the spirit side of life without a go-between, without somebody going between it. It's just you're downloading it right into your vibration. Most times you need mediums or people in your life because you need somebody to give you validation for what you've been seeing, because the medium hasn't followed you through your life all day. Your guides have. And you're looking for validation from your guides of what's going on in your life, what's happening and what's going on and what I need to do to move myself forward. And you're looking for the right symbols. You're looking for the right things to happen within the vibration. But that is the key for symbols of the messages or the languages of spirit. The languages of spirit are a very connected thing, but you figure out how you work with spirit. How do you sense spirit? How do you work with spirit? How do you connect to them? Get that down first. Whether you're clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient, what is your gift? Get that down first. Figure out exactly what that is, and your guides will show you. If you see them, sense them, or hear them, or smell them, what is your gift? Or you might just have a gift of automatic writing, doing something in that vibration, doing something totally more physical mediumship, and trying to do it that way. So what do you do? Because my mother used to do mediumship for people, and it was very easy mediumship. She'd take a Bible and she'd close it. She'd hand you the Bible. She'd say, turn to 3 places, put a bookmark in 3 places in the Bible. They would hand the Bible back to my mother, and she would open the thing to the bookmark. And she would just, whatever her eyes lit on, she would write. Then she'd turn to the 2nd bookmark and the 3rd bookmark, and she'd write those down. And out of those little things that she saw within the Bible that you picked, she would give you a reading. And I do those every once in a while. I do this every once in a while because people really like them. They go, oh my God, you're right on. It's not me being right on. It's your higher self, your higher vibration telling me this is what you need to know. So the question is when you're setting your symbols, take some time, get yourself quiet, regroup the vibration, understand where you are and what's going on in your life, and allow yourself to just get quiet and allow them to work with you. Remember, you're going to attract this very positive energy. They want to work with you. They want to speak to you. They want to connect to you. And that doesn't just mean the guides that you traveled in the spirit flying with. Doesn't mean the family members who have passed and left here to the spirit world. It's also ones from past lives, and from your incarnations from past lives in situations. They are still there on the spirit side of life. There could be somebody from 8 lifetimes back still sitting there watching you from that lifetime. They were in that lifetime with you, but they haven't reverted back in your lifetime. They're only that one lifetime, but they're part of your spiritual group, and they're part of the vibration for you. They're part of it. As you travel through this earth line, you're affecting yourself, but you're also affecting the group. So, as I said this before I started this, I've got to take my dog to get his stitches out this week. We got my dog fixed, got everything done, everything's set. We're going to be over there at 4 to get the stitches and everything out, and then the dog's is good. So this week it was like a half hour class this week on symbols, different things on symbols. I'm going to be speaking on some other stuff. Somebody emailed me some other things. I'm going to be speaking on some other things on how to connect to a more pure connection of where we need to be. But anyway, practice that. Just get quiet and listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. What do you tell yourself when you get in that quiet mode, that quiet vibration within your life? And I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you for being part of this today. I know it's a little bit early, but I got a half hour to get over there, so I just want to make sure I talk to you today, and I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in today and being part of this today. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.